Merry Christmas.
Oh my goodness. I am not ready for that, but I need to be. Merry Christmas.
Well,
Merry
that's what's so
Christmas.
crazy. The other day, someone on the radio said, it's such so it's this many weeks until Christmas. And I was like, what? You're kidding. Like it was so short. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought it is strange how we're not in that mode. And then all of a sudden, it's just right there.
Mm-hmm. And it is right there. And
It
we're
sneaks up
ready,
on us.
or we're going to get ready. If you're not ready, don't worry. We are here to help you. And we are here specifically to tell you how to spend money. No, to be generous. That's what we
Mhm.
want to do, right? We want to be generous with the people around us. And one way to do that is through giving gifts. It's not the only way. And I always think of the 5 love languages when I think of gift giving because it's my lowest, everyone, meaning,
We know that.
yeah. Poor Krista.
Oh no, I'm not. No,
I
no,
know.
I
I'm
am
still
not
waiting for my
saying that.
birthday gift from last year.
I am not saying that in that regard. I'm just saying we've talked about this on the podcast.
Yes, we have. So I really have to work hard. So I'm just saying, for those of you who are like, I don't know how you come up with all these gift ideas. I don't come up with all these gift ideas, which is why we are doing this episode, because we know there are other people like me who need some help, right? Some idea generating. It's just a little brainstorming session we're going to have. But I am motivated by being generous. I do
Yes.
like that. So
Well, I
that,
think it's that reframing of the
mhm,
why. We have to
yep.
reframe the why, and that makes all the difference. That why focus on giving gifts? I mean, why the stress? Why the right? Because a lot of people, maybe who that's not a high love language, they ask why. Why do we have to
Mm-hmm.
buy into the commercialism? And why do we have to do this? Why can't we just skip that altogether? And I think there is a deeper why. And so that reframing really matters of let's practice this heart of generosity. Let's practice this heart of thoughtfulness. Let's really dive into who people are and how we can, through a gift, show them that we know them and that we love them. And that to me is a complete mind shift.
Mm-hmm. And the gift doesn't have to be material. We're going to talk
No.
about that. It can be
Mm-mm.
time. It can be a service of some kind, which I love. Okay, so why are we talking about it now? Why shop early? Because if I'm avoiding shopping in the first place, why jump right in right now?
Well, and the reality is that if we don't do it now, we're going to be doing a week before, and our stress level is going to be through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really do ourselves the biggest favor. It really, to me, is self-care, honestly, to do things now,
Mm-hmm.
because then we are caring well for our spirit and for our cortisol levels. And we are actually giving ourselves a gift by thinking early about what we're doing and making those decisions. Because here's the problem. We actually just put off the decisions because we don't want to make the decision. And so it's that decision fatigue. And then we put it off. And then eventually we do have to make the decision anyway. So why not force ourselves to make the decision now and act on that decision so that it's done?
I kind of want to crawl under the desk right now because you nailed it. You nailed it. I don't know what to get someone, so I don't want to make that decision. So I'm going to put it off, and then it's going to hang over my head or in my jaw where I'm clenching my teeth, which I'm going to get a crown this afternoon because I grind my teeth so much from stress. Maybe if I went shopping earlier, I wouldn't need a crown and I'd have more money. I wouldn't be spending it on dental care. Okay. So we are going to do this because of less stress. Budgeting. Speaking of money, if we are looking now, we may not need to buy today, but if we have an idea of what we're looking for, we can look for best prices, right? Keep an eye out for good prices. And we're not just impulse buying to buy something to wrap. That I am so guilty of that. But we are going to try to do what you said and have more thoughtful, more purposeful gifts that aren't just panic spending.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people don't like buying on Black Friday, and I get that. And my husband's a
Mhm.
big hashtag opt outside, REI
Mhm.
started that and so we don't
Funny
shop.
enough, a store started that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
exactly. But like we don't go out shopping on Black Friday, but I do have a list, and I go online and I do buy certain things on Black Friday because you can get such great prices. So if I'm planned ahead, if I have my list ready and I'm still not going out into the crowds and doing something my family doesn't want to do, but I am getting those prices, and that makes a huge difference in the budget.
Okay, but you also said something very key. You have a list. When you turn on that computer or you walk
Mhm.
into that store, you are being intentional about what you're looking for and purchasing, and not just
Scrolling.
scrolling. Yeah, and saying, what speaks to me? What speaks to me right now that I can buy for this person? So I think that's key too in budgeting, because then you're not going to do as much impulse buying if you say, I'm going to make a list and be thoughtful. And
Mhm.
then what I have loved when we have done the Christmas remake in the past, and I've been a little more ahead of schedule, at least my schedules of years past in purchasing, is that then I'm not cray cray the week before Christmas trying to sneak out to Walmart last minute, but I've got the stocking stuffers all ready to go.
Mhm.
I'm good. I don't have to snap at everyone all the time. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just painting
Yes.
myself to be a lovely woman right now.
Well, I would also say, I mean, to your point, when we do it early, we actually get to spend those days before Christmas doing the things we love to do, which are the traditions and the fun and the relaxing in front of a holiday movie together with popcorn instead of running around at night at the store grabbing things that we don't need and that no one else in our family needs.
Yes. And I would say it's probably true that more and more of our listeners every year have young adult kids who are coming home during that time. So we want to maximize it. We don't want to
Mhm.
have that time spent at the store when we can do that when they're not home. Right.
And we can wrap as we go. So then we're not wrapping, because that's the other issue that takes so much time. And you're right. As kids get older, we also buy maybe more expensive things that are less quantity
Mm-hmm.
and more quality, but still, just being prepared and having things done, even down to the wrapping. We can't do that if we don't have it. So even little details like that make a difference.
So, okay, I think we've convinced everyone it's a good idea. Let's do it soon. But how do we know what to get people? How do we
Mhm.
know what they want now? I
Yeah.
mean, well, how do we
Well,
know?
and that is, there's a couple ways that I've done this, and I'd love to
Mhm.
hear how you've done it. But I try and take notes throughout the year of things that I notice that.
Mhm.
So I was just at my daughter's house where she's renting a house with some gals, and I was doing some things in their kitchen. And in making something in their kitchen, I saw exactly what they don't have.
Mhm.
So now I put on my list, I went into my notes and put on my
Yes.
list what they need. And so now that's one of the things I'm getting her for Christmas. And
Mhm.
then I would say the other is just in your notes, just keep exactly what you notice. And then you can also send out something to your family. Um, I even do this with kids who live with me. So this isn't just,
Mhm.
but it gives them time to think about it too. And I send it individually. I don't send a group text because kids actually get back to you better when you send it individually to them. And so I literally will just say, hey, I'm looking for some ideas early this year for Christmas. And can you tell me a couple of things that you'd be um, excited about or that you need right now? How
Mhm.
do you do it?
Yeah, same. Try to pay attention, take note as I hear things, and I have to be mindful of it because it's not just the automatic, oh, that would be a great gift. But if I'm telling myself that every couple days, like, oh, has somebody mentioned something? Then I'm much more likely to recall. Like my husband said something in the car. I took him and Genevieve to the airport this morning, and he said something, and I was like, okay, we're going to incorporate this into Christmas. So just those little notes, and then straight out asking and saying, I know you like to hand me a list of things that you would like. I would love to receive a list from you. I just need to receive it by this date if you want me to take it into consideration.
Yes.
So that I think asking and paying attention is great.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about what are some good ideas. And we're going to talk about different categories of people. So the episode is 7 people you're possibly going to be buying for. We didn't say possibly in the title, but you know that you'll be buying for and what to get them. So let's start with parents, because we all know that our parents aren't needing a lot of stuff because they're probably downsizing, or they're going to be downsizing in the near future. And so what do we get parents?
Yeah, they don't need stuff. I mean, really, every parent of people our age that I know that is living is talking about how they want to be getting rid of stuff. And not so, but that doesn't mean we don't give them gifts. The gifts may be our time or our skills, which often means our time to use the skill. So I would say time with you. What does that look like? Tickets to events, or simply we're going to go on a road trip, or we are going to come over and help you install your cable TV. Whatever it is that they're feeling stuck with that you can help them with, and even your kids can help them with, I think is a great gift for them. And really, I think that's what they want, right? Is time with us.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is where we did this last year. My sister and I did a date of the month, and we haven't hit every month because things have come up and we've, our schedules haven't matched. But we actually did outline at the beginning of the year what the dates were going to be. And then that every month we just try and put it on the calendar. So we look at our list and we say, okay, well, that's what we gave them for February. So let's find a time in February where we can put that, or that, now we're in November. So that has been really fun. And even if we don't hit it every month, we hit it most months. And that has been a great thing to do. And it causes that rhythm too of doing something special with my parents on a regular basis, which I love.
Yeah. And I like scheduling it, or maybe even having a standing time, like the second Thursday evening of the month, or something that you think would work. Okay. Anything else as far as parents go?
I would say concerts, like we did one time for my parents, an outdoor concert, tickets to an outdoor concert. And for Christmas, since the concert wasn't till the summer, we actually gave them a basket that had a blanket in it and a bunch of snacks and kind of concert-y type things. And that was their gift for Christmas. But then the gift actually came in August. So, but that's a way to give them still a physical thing, but then the gift is later. And then I would say, magazine subscriptions or some other, there's all sorts of something of the month. So there's fruit of the month. I mean, I love Harry and David out of Oregon. They have incredible fruit. That's a really nice gift. But you can also do a candy of the month. You can do, something that's edible, I think is great, because then they have something fun and fresh, and it's not something they have to store.
Or flowers. And that's a great gift if you're far away from your parents too, or your in-laws, because it's like you arriving every month. I mean, of course they would rather you, but it is a reminder of you every month, and they can feel like, oh, in March, those are from my daughter-in-law. She got those for me, or in November. Okay.
My big thing with this, and I know I said this before, but I'm going to say it again, is we've got to get things on the calendar if we are scheduling an experience or a date or something like that. Because one of the worst things is when someone gives a gift like that, but then it never happens. And so for us to really get things on the calendar is important. And I think this is great for kids. Like as like my kids are brainstorming what to get their grandparents. Well, time with them is the best gift they could give them, but it's easy to give something and never have it happen. And so, really, even coaching our kids, if you're going to give them a night out with you, it needs to be on the calendar.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of kids, let's talk older kids, teens, and maybe young adults ish. What do you love to give, or what are you thinking are good ideas right now these days?
Well, not to just be redundant, but I do think experiences are great gifts for them. And, it's something that it's beyond. It's funny because even though they're literal opposite stages of life, the same concept applies that we want to give young adults or teenagers something that develops them as a person and that will last with them beyond what an object would. So it doesn't mean objects are bad, but what experience could we provide that would maybe build a skill? So some kind of class. One year I gave our son an investing class. I found one online, Investing for Kids. So I gave him a course and he could work through the course. One time I gave my daughter a photography class. And so something like that. Also camps, like, is there a sports camp, a really special sports camp or young life camp, or something where you're sending them. And so not only are they gaining an experience for themselves, but they're building relationships with others. I think that's one of the things I'm especially aware of right now. And that is how much we need to help our kids be in community with other people. And I think it's just all the statistics coming out and what we're finding out about young people. And so that I'm always looking for ways of how do we help them build community. And so is there even like a dinner experience you could provide for your child and their friends that's a part of the gift, but getting creative with how we can build them as a person, but also help them in community. So I would say that's one idea. Do you have any other on that note?
Well, one thing I've been liking to give, to my own kids is when they turn 18, TSA pre-check, which I know sounds super silly, but in Denver, TSA pre-check changes your airport experience. But it is great because it kind of hints at you are about to enter a phase where you're going to have some adventures and you're going to get on some flights. And so maybe this doesn't feel relevant to every kid, but for ours, they've been happy to get it. And it lasts 5 years, which is also great. And so I kind of think the next time you buy this, you're going to buy it for yourself because it's a service. But for now, it's part of us launching you and celebrating.
I love that. And I think anything to do with travel is also great because like you said, like it kind of gets them in the mode of there's a big world out there. And so like I have a son who's going to be studying abroad this year. So a lot of things we're going to be getting him are going to be travel related. But I love that because it's like, look at this world you get to go see, and here's some things to help you with that. And that's just fun.
Yeah. And we like to go on the TSA pre-check line, and you can't go with us anymore unless you have it. So if you want to go with us on our trips, we need you to have this. But some practical things really fast. Portable speakers. My kids carry their music around. So I want my own speaker back. I will buy you your own.
The JB speakers.
Custom Converse have been popular at our house, where you go and you pick the color and the platform and all of that. But it does take some time. So if you know what kids want, order now, and then they will be here in time, or give them some kind of gift certificate so that they can go on and create their own, customize their own.
Cute.
A nail gel kit with a light that just has never been a disappointment around here. I mean, we have used those kits till they die, honestly.
Do you have a certain one that you like?
I linked to one. No, we're going to link to one in the show notes that is similar to the ones we've bought before. We haven't invested in anything fancy, but it seems like on Amazon, they're all about the same price point. They're not expensive. And it's really, again, about it takes time and they're not on a screen.
Mhm.
So it's almost like a craft, if you will. Can I say that? But it's an activity that they do together. They do each other's nails. So I
I
like
know
that.
that my daughter-in-law has one she likes. So I will link the one that Gabby likes as well because she has a good
Okay.
one.
Oh, I am sure Gabby has done more research on this than I have. I will put my life on that. And then another one, I think for maybe older kids, maybe it's more of a girl thing, is plants.
Mm-hmm.
My older girls and their friends like plants more than I do. But I think that's a healthy, wonderful, lovely gift. So
I think plants are a fantastic gift. I love that. I actually gifted my daughter some for her classroom this year, and the kids are taking care of them, which I think is so cute. Like one of them has a job of watering, but it just brings so much life to a space. Plants are amazing. I would add to those car items. Car items. So whether that is a little organizer for their car, a car wash subscription would be a great gift for a teenager if they'll use it.
I'm writing that down. Right now.
But that is a great one because then they can go wash their car whenever they want. It encourages them to clean it, which is great. You could do air fresheners. You can do, a phone holder, anything like that. I think are great car accessories. And then I would say games that help them also connect with friends. So spike ball. Some would say video games, which I know Adam Grant actually says it really does help the brain. But you got to have time limits on it for sure. Okay. Oh, and then can we talk about ski tickets?
Yeah, we can.
if you're in an area where there is skiing accessible, ski tickets are a great Christmas gift. Again, encouraging experience, connection, fun. And then one of my friends, she is doing something. Her husband told her, you need to have more fun with the kids. And so she's like, what are you saying? I'm a stick in the mud?
Yeah, no, I get that. I get needing to be more fun.
And so she planned a 1-day experience.
Sorry.
Okay. So my friend planned a 1-day experience.
Okay.
Where and they're flying in for the day because they're right next to a bigger city. So it's not, they're very expensive. It'd be like me flying to Seattle, but she's literally flying her girls there for 1 day and they've got all the stuff they're doing and then they're flying back that night. So they don't even have the hotel cost, but that would be a fun, different, like your kids would always remember that you're like, okay, on this day, block it out. And then you fly or you drive to a nearby city.
Yeah.
You spend all day there and then you come back.
Yeah. And you could do the bus or the train. Because I think doing something that's other than the car too helps it feel unique.
I like that.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll say any ski stuff too, not just, it's kind of like the TSA pre-check. Like this is something you need in order to be able to do this. So some of my girls got ski helmets last year because they just needed them.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we talk husbands?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you got?
Well, I will say in our house, also lowest love language. So I'm not super motivated because I also know it doesn't matter as much to him as maybe it would to somebody else. But back to the fun and the mom needing to have fun. I think in general, men in our demographic, I'm just going to make a really big generalization, need to have more fun. And their wives need to be some of the people encouraging them to do that, if not the main person. So,
amen.
My encouragement to all of us, I'm including myself in this, is that we should be giving gifts that encourage fun. Because unlike our kids who are like, you need a new toothbrush, here, have one. He doesn't want a new toothbrush. He can buy his own toothbrush. He's buying everybody else's toothbrushes. Give him something that is fun, which it could be like a date like that, where you fly somewhere or you drive somewhere for the day or for the night. Or it could be something that he wants to do for himself that he never makes a priority. And you are helping by giving a gift to say, this is going to be a priority for you, which could be last year. One of the gifts I gave Derek was a flight to go to visit Eric.
Mm-hmm. So fun.
Yeah, that was, I think anything that is in that vein is good. And anything that helps with creativity. My husband falls on the creative end of the spectrum. So I jokingly put on our list a pizza oven, but he just made him his own pizza oven. But I actually think these pizza ovens that you can buy would be a really good gift because he likes to cook. But something like that, like a tool, or, you know, something that's not just a new grill, though if he needs a new grill, that's a good gift. But some other things in that same category that he could use every day that would make his day more fun.
Well, and it's an experience. Like, so there's the Oni ovens, which are kind of the top of the line pizza ovens. I think Williams and Sonoma carries that one. But then there's another one, which I will link to in the show notes. I don't remember the brand, but it's a step down price wise from that, but they perform really well and they're still portable. And so you can take them places. Like I know people that take them camping. I know people that take them to tailgates. I know people that take that. Now that's a big deal to take to a tailgate, but still you can take it to grandparents. You can take it to parties, and that's really fun.
Yeah. You're all of a sudden the fun guy with the pizza oven.
Yeah. And there's also that, have you seen those huge griddles?
Yes.
They're called, what are they called?
Why do I feel like we have one?
They're giant and you cook outdoors. So you can literally do all your cooking. Again, I'll find it and link to it in the show notes, but you can do all your cooking outdoors. So it becomes a party. The cooking itself becomes a party because you can have all this food and multiple people can be around it. And it's like this really fun thing. So we have some friends who have one.
Well, we have one that goes on our grill.
Oh,
so it's not like it's not like its own. We have so much stuff in our backyard with all the things, but this one goes on the grill. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great.
Derek does like stir fry on the grill kind of.
Yes. Okay. We need to link to that one too, because that would be a great option for people who don't want a whole nother stand.
I have to confess, I think he goes outside. He comes back with food. Okay, people.
I know. Cause you always talk about how Derek does the cooking. We can all be jealous of that.
Okay. It's true in other families too. It's not just us.
You and maybe a few others. Okay. So I would also say that if you give a gift, think of maybe what could go with that gift. So let's say your husband really wants a fly fishing pole. You could give him the fly fishing pole, but then get creative and say, okay, on this day, you and I are going to this river and I'm going to pack the picnic and we're going to go fish. So, try and make it more than just the fishing pole. Like let's get into that relationship building, that building experiences together, which we need to keep doing and keep investing in our marriage. And that is one way we can do that.
And it hits on the love language of quality time. Yeah. Anything that can kind of bring in some of those other love languages, I think is good.
So like, I'm going to give my husband something I'm not going to mention right now in case he listens to this, but I'm giving him something that I can pair with an experience. And so even now, as we're talking about this, like I'm thinking in my head, okay, what experience do I want to pair with this that would make that a way more special gift than if I just gave him this item?
Yeah.
But then I loved your idea too, of which you can do that for grandparents of just, this day out of the month. But one of our friends, Kristen Hatton, they do dating by the alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
So you could even say, okay, the third Wednesday of every month, we're going on a date. And what they do is like for A, they have to pick a restaurant or an activity that starts with A, and then B, C, so you can get really creative with that too, which is super fun.
Yeah. It just helps you get unstuck.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because parameters force creativity.
Yes.
So we can't go to the B restaurant. We need to go to the A restaurant, which means we're going to
Mm-hmm.
go somewhere we've never been before, which is
Love it.
fun.
Which is fun.
Darn it. Okay. What about for each other, for friends? You're a good gift giver for friends. I'm not, but I will say my decide once right now. So if you're my friend, you're going to get this gift sometime in the next year, is the new Prayers and Blessings book by Kate Bowler and Jessica Ritchie, Prayers for My Actual Life. I think I've read a prayer on the podcast before from this book. And I even gave it to someone recently, and she texted me a picture of a prayer she was reading that she really liked. And I said, just be prepared that you're probably going to get more than one copy of this from me, because now it's the only gift I'm going to give people ever.
Well, can we talk about also how we track what we give to people? Because that's becoming a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you have a decide once, so that idea is like, this is my decide once. It's kind of the lazy genius principle of you choose one thing. Then it's like for a one-time thing, it's good.
For
so
this year.
For this year, or for graduation. Like I have a decide once for high school graduation gifts, because people only graduate once from high school. So I'm not going to give them the same gift twice. Yeah. But how do you track gifts?
Well, I mean, if you have the decide once, I think that's great. But if you don't have that and you like more personalized gift giving, which tends to be more my style, because like I have friends that aren't readers. And so even if I gave them the best book in the world, I know they're not going to read it. So then I want to give them something I know they're going to use. So that's where I struggle with that decide once thing. Is I'm like, but if they're not readers, but you are, and you love reading books, but you read it, but then you give us someone who doesn't read something, then, so I struggle. That's where I have a tension with that, because I love the idea of it. But in practical,
I have no tension.
But in practical application, I'm like, okay, so I have started keeping lists of like, if I have someone I give a gift to on a regular basis, like every year, because they're a good friend, it's their birthday, I just have a folder with their name, and then I start writing down what I give them. So I know from year to year if I've given them, because usually I give a lot of my favorite things that I'm loving, whether that's a favorite mascara, a favorite lip gloss. I mean, we all know that the Buxom lip gloss is my go-to for, I love that. Most people love that. Or a certain book, or a, 1 year I was really I still am into the key rings that you put your car keys on. So I love giving those as gifts. And so I just have to write it down because I won't always remember.
That's really great. I'm just trying to think of like, how realistic is it that I would do that? Probably not. But you give more gifts than I do. So probably you need to be more organized about it than I do.
Well, and you can keep it in a notebook. But for example, I also really try and think of like what's coming up for that person that would be a fun gift. So like for you this year, you were traveling to Europe. So I thought when your birthday came around, I was like, what would be a fun gift for her for Europe?
Yeah. And you gave me a travel journal. People are wondering what you gave me. Yeah. That's what it was. It was a great gift. Yeah. And you know what it also said? It was kind of like your version of the TSA pre-check. There's more to come.
Yes.
I believe in your future. This is the next phase of your life, and I'm here for it as your friend. So that's what I appreciated almost more than the actual thing, was like, I believe this for you. Oh, that gets me teary.
Oh, okay. I love that.
And you don't give the same gift to everyone. I do. So be ready, everyone, because this book is applicable to everyone's life.
I do love that book, but I also read that book. So
I know.
I will say the other thing that I am giving this year are our friend, the Peaceful Homestead, Wendy. She did scripture cards and I ordered the little holder with them, and I am giving those as gifts as well. And I love scripture cards as gifts because who doesn't love just a good scripture sitting by your sink that you can meditate on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're so cute.
They're beautiful. They're
Cute.
watercolored.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk teachers. What do you give to teachers?
Yeah, I do have a decide once, and it's actually two different things though. I decide between two things once. Movie tickets, which I tend to do at Christmas more because I usually write a little note about go do something fun with your family if they have kids, or if they don't have kids, with their friends. So I do try to be mindful of how many people are in their family and give them tickets for everyone. And then money, because teachers always need money. They always need money. My mom was a teacher, and I remember when her class would give her gifts, and some of them were really funny. Now, part of it is she was English as a second language teacher, so a lot of the gifts were cultural and surprising to us because we were looking at things from our own cultural lens and like, oh, we would never give that to somebody. So it's just an interesting, that was funny and fun. But sometimes they would pool their hard-earned money, and it was so sweet because the spirit of generosity, because these are all adults who came from countries where teachers were very respected and they worked so hard. So anyway, I probably am biased to money in that because it was also a blessing to us because, single mom on a teacher's salary. But
well, and it's like, I think it gets to what you're speaking of. It's like the sacrifice of the widow in, in the Bible, when we talk about when there's sacrifice involved, it means something so different.
Yeah. So anyway, I wasn't expecting money as a teacher gift to be my thing that threw me over the edge today, but
yeah, I love that. But I think that's a great example of the heart behind gift giving. And it really can make people feel so loved. So I think that just gets to that, back to what we were saying at the beginning, that gets to that point.
Yeah. And the spirit of generosity. If it's given out of a spirit of generosity, which often means a little bit of sacrifice, which again, I don't think has to mean money necessarily. It could be time. No. Yeah. Time is a sacrifice, but, I'm just going to say last year, my big gift that I gave my girls, was Taylor Swift tickets to the concert, but I didn't pay the thousands of dollars for them. I just want people to know I was on hold for 6.5 hours.
I remember
the tickets went on sale. And that sacrifice meant so much to them that I had done that. And they were so surprised. It was really fun. But yeah, it can just be the sacrifice of while you're in school, I'm going to wait on hold for 6.5 hours and keep touching the screen to make sure that I'm still in line.
So fun. I love that you did that. I also was thinking when you were talking, that's a great third way if people want to decide once for the year. You said I decide between two things. So that could be also great, where you pick two things and then you decide for each person, would they rather have this or this? So I thought that was good. For teachers, we tend to do homemade, and we do something that they can eat that's good, like not lame, but it's not like fruitcake. It's like it's really fun because then my son participates as well. And we've made homemade caramel corn. We also have done, because we have a special recipe in our family. And then we also do our soft peanut brittle, which is also, the historic Davenport Hotel is one of the most beautiful historic hotels in America. They've restored it to its glory. And one of their signatures is soft peanut brittle. And so I have my own recipe. I've kind of recreated it. And we give that to teachers. It's really expensive to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So we give that to teachers. And I now have, well, my son has teachers now stopping him in the hallway. So ex-teachers that aren't his teachers currently, and saying, hey, can you and your mom make that soft peanut brittle again? And don't leave me off the list this year. So they still want us delivering, even though he doesn't have them. So we'll be doing multiple batches this year.
Yeah. Okay. Can we just pause for a minute and recognize this might be your last teacher year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's going to make me cry for sure.
I
But
know.
you can always take peanut brittle.
Right.
No one says you can't.
No one says I can't.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk business partners or people that you're either yourself in a working relationship with or your spouse.
I'm going to defer to you on this one.
Okay.
I'm fresh out of ideas.
I mean, a lot of businesses do an exchange where, you pick someone and so it takes some of that out of it, but also there may be people you just especially want to honor in your workplace for whatever reason. Maybe they're a boss, maybe it's a colleague who you especially appreciate, and so you just want to honor someone in a unique way. And so I've done all kinds of things. A couple of ideas that I feel like people have really appreciated for business partners is one, doing a local basket where you collect all local food goods. So again, on the food theme, but we're a big huckleberry region. So huckleberry items, wines from our region with a little charcuterie setup going. Those are always, I think, big hits. Local honey, things like that are really fun to put, and people appreciate it because it feels different than just going to Costco and getting that big basket that's all wrapped up. Like that feels so impersonal. Whereas if you do something local and you're sourcing from local farms and people, it just feels special. We also have a cheese that's very famous around here called Cougar Gold.
Yeah.
And it's out of Washington State University. It is a award-winning cheese worldwide. So this is no small cheese. This is like, and it is like as special as a huckleberry because you have to order it from Washington State University. They sell out and it's like the most tangy, wonderful goodness. So for those of you who've never tried it, you've got to try it. It's incredible. Get the original. They have lots of kinds, but get the original. So even Cougar Gold cheese, I've given as gifts in a basket. And then last year, I really like what I did last year for my husband's partners. So I bought on Black Friday, I bought baking dishes, really pretty white baking dishes at Crate and Barrel. And then I made our homemade cinnamon rolls, our homemade Amish cinnamon rolls, which are amazing. And I put them in, I baked them, which just means I way baked them. And then I froze them. And then I wrapped them in a big tea towel and gave that as the gift that they could use on. And I put cream cheese icing in them. So I put the icing inside and they could use those on Christmas morning during the Christmas season. And they loved those. Again, it's special because it's homemade and they got to keep the baking dish, which was really beautiful too.
Yeah, you inspired me. And so I did something like that last year for end of the year teacher gifts because it was our last year at the elementary school. And Juliana wanted to do something that was just for every teacher she had had as she was leaving. And so same thing, but I was at Costco, not Crate and Barrel, and they were on clearance. And I was like, I'm going to do what Krista did. And then I was really overwhelmed, not because it's too hard, but just end of the year crunch.
Yes.
Christmas is often a crunch time too. We didn't do the cinnamon rolls. We did coffee cake and we just baked it and took it to him. Because I also was trying to figure out like refrigeration at the school, which is a whole thing, if we're taking something in the morning. And so, but you gave me the idea because I saw the cute pictures you posted on Instagram and I just tucked it away. And then when I saw those dishes on clearance, I said, Juliana, we're buying 12 of these.
And how did it go over?
It was great. It's
Yeah.
great. They'd never
So
received
fun.
anything like that before.
Yeah.
So it was lovely. And I do like giving people consumables that aren't based so much on style. So it was, again, the same thing. It was a white baking dish. So pretty classic, would go with anything, with anyone's dish set. But then the food, I mean, it was gluten rich. So it wasn't really a gluten-free option.
Yeah. So
That's okay.
probably, I mean, that is good to find out before. What are your thoughts on gift cards or on gift certificates for restaurants for business partners?
I think it's okay. I think it's this, sometimes Derek's work team have given us gift certificates to a restaurant that we would never go to. We would just never spend money on that. And so it feels like something special for us to do. So that, in a way, has felt like a treat that was thoughtful because they knew we would do it together and it would be special for us. So I think it can be, as long as it's not just something that you buy, I don't know, at the kiosk at the grocery store, but it's maybe a special place in town. And that's what it's always been for us. They've also bought us things like for our family to do together, like bowling gift card kind of things. But same idea, like we want you to go do something together as a family and we want to offer you that. And I love that.
Yeah. I think if there's some flexibility, it's nice. We had someone once buy us tickets to a festival. And then it was kind of stressful trying to, because the tickets weren't cheap, but then it was stressful trying to figure out how we were going to make that work, that date. So that was a little stressful. I would say that wasn't my favorite because of that factor.
Yeah. No, I think every time the person who has been in charge of buying gifts at his office is a very thoughtful woman. In fact, I wrote about her in Seeking Out Goodness and how thoughtful she is in celebrating people. And part of that is gift giving. She gives very thoughtful gifts for different occasions. So,
and I think especially with business partners, we feel like it has to be expensive. And I just want to push against that a little bit and say thoughtful is better than expensive. Because just because you can go buy the huge, extravagant basket, actually doing something a little more thoughtful would mean more than that. So we don't have to spend like huge amounts of money. You want to get us something nice, but we can do that in a variety of ways. So getting creative about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been fun. I feel inspired. Do you feel inspired to go get your gift giving in order?
I do. And I wrote down a few ideas. I think I did say one that I wrote down, but I have some ideas. So I'm excited and we want to hear your ideas. So message us, tell us what you like to give people and what, if you have a decide once, what it is this year, because I need some help.
Okay. And I'm going to put in the show notes today a printable that you can download that is just listed out these different categories with a few ideas underneath, and then a space for you to write what you are going to get people in these categories so that you also can decide today. So look for that printable in the show notes today and join us in giving ourselves a gift this year of being prepared so that we can enjoy the holidays with our friends and family.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays.